Good morning, C.A.R. members. Looks like we already have people joining us. So come on in on this lovely Wednesday morning. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm Abby Arvidsson. I'm with the California Association of Realtors. We're super happy to have you all on board today as we're going to talk about heat maps and how it's a powerful tool behind delivering your clients actionable market insights. So basically, looking at kind of the visualizations of all this data that we're used to working with all the time, and how to present that to your clients in a way that they can understand and make intelligent decisions, buying and selling decisions. So real quick before we get started, this is being recorded. So we're going to send everyone a link to the recording later, as well as important information about TopHap, which is one of our Realtor Secure Transaction partners and available to you as a C.A.R. member. We are going to be hearing from Anton Danilovich today. He's the CEO of TopHap, and he always does a really great job explaining this. I'm really excited for you all to be able to hear, sort of his wisdom and be able to see this really cool platform. So Anton, how are you doing today? Thanks so much for being here.
I'm doing good, can't complain. I would say sunny California weather, but not here, not today. I don't know where everybody else is. We're in the Bay Area, so thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead and take on over whenever you're ready. I think we're all anxious to hear how we can use these heat maps. And again, thanks so much for being here.
Yes, absolutely. So, thank you for the introduction. My name is Anton. I'm the CEO of TopHap. TopHap stands for Top Homes and Properties. I'm a veteran agent. I've been in the business for 18 years. Most of my career was focused around the investment segment of doing, investment projects myself, starting from flips to development, subdivisions, new construction. And through that time, working with other builders and developers like myself. So my entire career was focused around understanding market trends, really getting into the details of neighborhood and regional characteristics, and really understanding the flow of home values, migration trends. And at the end of the day, like, where's a better place to park our money, right? Or my clients' money. And with that experience, that made me an exceptional agent to just my regular buyer and seller clients, because I can touch on points that go above and beyond what something costs, right? I could have talked about why it costs this and where the values in the neighborhood are going. So what I kept running into as a professional of 15 years at that point is I knew my area very well, right? You give me an address, you give me a street, a neighborhood, I knew everything. But you move me 5-10 miles in any direction and I'm fish out of water. I don't know what's going on anymore. And I became really frustrated as I tried to expand my territory and go elsewhere. I started looking for other tools that would help me and educate me as a real estate professionals on market dynamics in other regions, and there weren't any. And this is why TopHap was born. And what we do, simply put, with our heat maps and other features, we visualize those market trends and neighborhood characteristics. And not only helping agents understand markets they're not familiar with, maybe because they're new stepping into the business or they're trying to expand their territory, but also giving them a much deeper insight view on the markets that they do understand. And let me show you how we do that. So today's topic is going to be focused around heat maps. TopHap as a platform has many different features. We'll lightly go through them, but we'll focus on the heat maps. We have a CMA tool. We have a competitive analysis tool that allows you to assess 20-year historic performance of regions, not just properties, and other type of investment grade, analytics. So I'm going to turn our listings off, and why don't we focus on the Bay Area and go through our heat maps. So you guys are all familiar with a listing search portal, right? We know we have that module, listing results on the left, filters are up above. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and show you our secret sauce, which is our heat maps. And heat maps are easy, right? They're a color very gradient, it's always from light to dark, whether it's, yellow to red or white to black or light blue to dark blue. In this case, what we do is light green to dark purple. And the reason we chose this color gradient is because it's colorblind safe. So anybody that can comes into TopHap and visualizes our analytics with our heat maps, they see the picture, a clear picture. And the darker color always represents a higher value of whatever layer that we are looking at. On TopHap, the layers are here below, and they all have sub layers. So we have a section for values, for property characteristics, regional information, hazard, market details, investment, community, and schools, okay? So what's turned on for default is our TopHap estimate. And what you're seeing is home prices in the Bay Area, again, going from light to dark, the dark representing higher home prices, meaning Hillsborough, average 4.9%, 6.7, 5.6 as you hover over it, or places in Oakland of 600,000, 607. So when you're trying to understand an area that you are not familiar with, this is gold, right? Like, let's go to Alamo and Danville, where we are located. And right off the bat, most of you are probably not familiar with this region, but using this heat map, you can understand where the higher price points are, right? They're here, right? They're here. But look what happens when you zoom into the street level. This is really where the magic happens and the true insight starts presenting itself. Understanding street by street trends of home values within a neighborhood. So if you're sitting with your customer at their house and they live on this street, right, we can see what the home values are here, 1.9, 2.1, 2 million, but they're looking at comparables 2 streets over on this street, right? And what they think is their home should be worth the same amount because it's close by, but it's not, right? Now you are looking at this type of detailed insight of home values, and you can see which streets bring a higher value, right? But a higher value based on what? Is it because it's price per square foot, right? Look at that. Homes here are in the 7 to 8 price per square foot range, and just 2 streets over, we're at 1,000, 1,200, right? So you have this benefit to knowing this information for yourself if you're not familiar with, but also to get the point across to your customer that typically knows they're right? Because when you sit at those listing appointments, or you're with the buyer, canvassing the neighborhood, everybody has their opinion, right? And if it's your opinion versus their opinion, most of the time their opinion wins. And most of the time it's not accurate. But if you visualize what you know with data, right? Data versus opinion, data wins. And this is the type of insight that's powerful that you can quickly pull off just by looking at the heat maps. Now, what about understanding the size of homes within any given region, right? That's important. But where's the insight there, right? It's not that everything is around 3,000 square feet, but is the neighborhood 1,500 to 3,000 square feet, or is it all 3,000 square feet? And if there are bigger homes within the community, where are they? Are they scattered everywhere? Here we can see that, right? If we again pay attention to the color gradient of the heat map, we have light colors and dark colors kind of all over the place here, right? So the makeup of this neighborhood is diverse. Now you go again to this community and everything is a lot more uniform, right? So if your customer, let's say they're a builder, they want to step into this area that we're looking at and build a 5,000 square foot house, you can clearly tell them where they can and where they can't, or where they shouldn't, right? You're going to say, probably not here, Bob the builder. But if you go a little bit to the left, and over here, the homes are beginning to get larger. Look at that, 51, 45, 46, 64, right? So it's this visual representation of any marketplace based on any type of lens that you would like to take a look at. Bathroom counts, bedroom counts. How many bedrooms are within this neighborhood? Is there a natural demand for 8 or 9 bedrooms, or is it 1 or 2, right? Or is it 3, 4, and 5, like you see that here? And where are the bigger bedroom bathroom counts? There's bathrooms, lot sizes, right? Look at that, you can clearly see where the bigger lots in the community are, and you can quickly start pointing your customer or even yourself in a different direction based on your search criteria. Now, what about slope, right? This is one of my favorites because this allows me to quickly understand how flat or not flat something is, right? So if I'm looking for properties for sale, right, and let's turn the listings back on. I'll show you guys. Well, nothing for sale here, but a few things have sold. The market's hot. But okay, so check this out. A property here for 2.3 and a property up here for 2.47, right? If my customer is looking for a flat lot, I'm not going to bring them up here with the 18% grade of a slope, right? Waste of time. Or if I'm running comparables and my subject property is here, but all of the comparables are here below in the flatlands, that allows me to make proper adjustment, right? For the less usability of the space because of a higher slope. Again, powerful insight, but how do you typically know this type of information? You know it by serving this area for years and actually driving to the site. And what this allows you to do as we go through these layers is understand the region from every angle, from your computer, from your lap, from your iPad, from your phone, while you're having coffee, while you're on the bus, on a train, on a flight, wherever, it doesn't matter. Real estate all of a sudden has become digital as we've created it here. So you can surf and search it, at your leisure and only going to the site when you have to, which is really, really, really cool. So, things like pools, again, that's a powerful insight. Is this a neighborhood that demands a pool or not, right? How old are the homes in this location? And again, not just the age, but you need to understand if you're serving a neighborhood where everything is 40 years old, or are homes between 1 and 40 years old? Because again, they're going through some changes. Let me give you another example of what that looks like. So take a look at this area right over here, you guys. And based on age, look at the different type of clusters and characteristics of the neighborhoods, right? You have everything here that's 20 years old, 1910, right? 44. And then there's a huge separation of age here. But if I turn this off, it all looks like it blends, right? Like, how do you know what's going on here, right? And with the heat map, look how powerful this is. All of a sudden, you get this visual representation of age and how it flows through this community. Let me see, HOA info, regional information, noise, right? And this is a good comparable layer. As you have a client that lives close to the freeway or the main street, right? And again, they don't really understand how their value is affected because of the road noise, or even how far does the sound travel through the neighborhood because you have a customer that's trying to move into the location and they want to be by the freeway, but they don't want to hear it. Well, you can see a clear representation with the heat map of what the road noise looks like within this specific area. Again, the darker colors representing a higher sound decibel level, right? And look how interesting this is. The sound, it's actually louder on the right side than the left side. And the further from the freeway you go, right, the sound dissipates and it gets really quiet here and you can't hear anything. And one thing I'll mention as I go through these, every one of these data points is fed into our TopHap estimate. It's our own proprietary machine learning model. And what we've done is, instead of just looking at home sale prices, bedroom, bathroom counts, lot sizes, we've introduced what I call auxiliary data sets, right? It's data points that control desirability of an area in any direction, right? Noise affects desirability. And our valuation model understands that if a subject property here is the same as one here, it's going to be valued less here because of the noise and everything else that we're looking at. Let's see. Elevation is another great one, right? And again, this whole presentation is based around understanding the market that's you're either stepping into, or visualizing what you already know and presenting that in a presentation for your customer. Elevations, if you want to be in the hills or find an area that's in the hills of any specific location, you do that here. You can see we have rainfall, temperatures, crime index, land unique zones, full suite of hazard info could be visualized as well. Market dynamics, this is one of the most important ones, right? Because this really takes, number one, years to understand and due diligent tracking, but also very, the very localized market knowledge, right? How do homes sell within the community? Are they selling at asking, over or under? And if so, by how much over or under? Well, look at this. This darker region in a heat map, represents a higher value of higher sale price versus list price, 14% over here. If we go here, 7. If we go in this area, it's at asking price, right? Over here, it's 1% over. So such a powerful insight when you're working with the buyer, and in this competitive market, you're trying to advise them on what they should be offering, right? And we all know what buyer conditioning is, right? Most of them, they want to listen to us as agent, but they kind of don't, right? And they really start to, after they've lost out on 4, 5, or 6 properties. Let's say we're making an offer in the area here, and they only want to offer 5% over asking, or 10. And you can say, look, 14, this is where we need to be, maybe 15% if you want to get the deal, right? Again, data versus opinion. Data wins every time. So very powerful information. And then what about days on market, right? Understanding how quickly a home is sold within any given area. And you can see you have close proximity areas here. And here we have a 2 months days on market. Here we have less than a month, right? Over here, we're 1 month. So it's neighborhood specific. And again, you know, this is working with your buyer or selling or setting the expectation with your seller, saying, look, the neighborhood you're in, everything is selling still over a month, right? Or I think we're going to be able to sell it within a week because here's how what the data shows. Ownership information, things like ownership time. You know, if you're doing farming and you want to get in front of clients that have been here for quite some time, right? If homes are owner occupied or not, we can visualize that as well. Let's see, owner occupied right over here, right? So, you know, you're walking this particular neighborhood with your customer, and they say, well, how many rental properties are here, right? Well, 3. Here you go, right? Within a second, you can pull up this information, turn on the layer in the heat map, turn your phone around and show them there's only 3 here, right? This quick access to this type of information and insight is what builds trust and confidence between us and our customers, right? Because if we have to say, I don't know, or I'm going to get to it, or I have to go find somewhere else, they're going to find that information themselves. And if we think about where this market is headed, consumers are smarter, right? They have a lot more information available to them. Every other online portal is bombarding them with data, right? But as real estate professionals, we truly don't have anything that competes with their knowledge besides their years and experience. Well, you know, this is why we've built this, is to help our community evolve with the times and not get pushed out, because we need to be able to provide this type of insights to our customers quickly, on the fly, not get back to them later, right? So we can build more trust and value within our organization as real estate professionals. Very passionate about this. Let's see, investment, you know, understanding an area from an investment lens. You know, if a lot of agents want to work with builders and investors, some don't, but you know, some do. But in that case, you really need to understand the investment dynamics. You know, like one of the key things is people buy investment property for rent. And if somebody calls you and says, hey, you know, I want to rent a property in the Bay Area, where should I go? Well, you guys can probably tell right now at this point, as I've talked about the color gradient variations, this is it, this is it, this is it, right? But if they're going to be renting in a place where they live, maybe here in the Rinda area, you can actually tell them what to expect, right? Like 4% gross rental yield, you know, 4% here, 4% here, you know, 8% there. Understanding, you know, tax rates, right? Tax billed amounts. What about construction activity, right? So construction activity is a powerful data point, because not only does it show you what's going on today within an area, if there's improvement going on, but also where are the values heading, right? Because if we're, let's say we're in the suburb community and everything there is 60 years old, and all of a sudden there's a huge increase in demos, right? Remodel permits, roof, kitchen. That means this area is going to go through a change, right? It's going to attract new buyers. The values are going to go up, and there's going to be an increase of price home values when these permits begin to get finalized. So we visualize permit information, right? You can take a look at any type of permit, let's say kitchen remodels. Boom, look at that, right? Let's say 1 year. And then we can zoom into any specific location. And here are all the kitchen remodels within the last year. You can do new construction, you can do roof, you can do anything. Again, this is great for investor clients because they want to understand if they're about to do a remodel, you know, in an area that's going to support it. Is anybody else doing remodels there? Are we the first ones? If we're the first ones, it could still be a good deal. You just need to understand that you are, so you can build your strategy around that. You know, community. Understanding the most important data point of any area, and it's the people, right? Who lives here, right? Married, divorced, median age. Is this a retirement community, right? Are the kids here? How old are the people, right? If you're directing, you see, not married. If you're directing a customer into an area and they have very specific needs around an environment, right? Maybe it is a retirement community because she's a widow, right? Or it's very important for them to be in a walkable neighborhood with young families with kids. You can visualize all of that information here, right? Everything about people is right in here. And then obviously schools. You know, we go above and beyond a school rating, right? Because there's a lot more things to understand about the school environment, you know, and it's students per grade, students per teacher, number of teachers. Everything here is here for you to visualize. And the last thing I'll jump back into is understanding, we call them unique zones, right? So either neighborhood or school districts. One of the most daunting tasks for me was always to go out and find school details in an area I wasn't familiar with, right? And if we visualize that information here and we hit school, we'll zoom in a little bit. Not only do you see the different school attribution per neighborhood, but also what type of schools are in within each given area, right? The different colors represent different schools. But how interesting is this, right? Look at this close proximity. This is one city, right? And we have 3 different school designations, right? So imagine buying in the wrong street, right? Or advising somebody to buy in the wrong street, and all of a sudden the middle school is not what they wanted. Again, you know, heat maps, all you're looking for is either the color variations, you know, what's the low point, what's the high point of whatever layer that we're looking at, or is it a mix of everything within one community, let's say price per square foot, and if so, again, where are the low points and the high points. So another unique thing we do with our heat map is we allow you to identify off-market properties based on your specific criteria. Now, not off-market for sale, right? I'm saying off-market period. Let's say your home, your customer is looking for a house, and let's say I'm going to use between 2.5 and, you know, let's see, 3 million. Oops, 2.5 and 3 million, because that's what this area supports. And bedroom counts, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, 3,000 square feet, right? Minimum. Look at that, not one home for sale. The red labels represent recently sold within the last, you know, 90 days, right? Not even a pending, no active. But we know those homes exist, right? That matches their criteria, and you can get very detailed with the criteria that you're looking for. I just for presentation purposes, just use these simple filters. Well, what if you want to identify each home that's there based on the buyer's request, and then you're going to go out there and door knock, send a letter, right? See if they're interested in selling. Well, we can help you identify these opportunities like this. I just hit this button, start filter heat map, and now the heat map is showing you every property, right, that matches this criteria. You can even say, okay, you know what, I want the minimum lot to be 30,000 square feet. Boom, right? You see it filter down some more, and then you'll have your results on the left. And then with that information, you can make a list, right? And here are the properties that match the criteria. And what's cool about them, we have now tied the TopHap estimate layer to it, but you can look at price per square foot, right? And everything else. So Heat maps are powerful. They're you spend a day, kind of fiddling with this, and I always suggest doing this in an area that you already know and understand, because then it puts things in perspective. So then you can jump into any part of California and be able to assess any market there within minutes, not hours, not days, minutes. And we are going nationwide this coming year. So you'll be able to do this nationwide. Now, let me jump to a couple of other very powerful features here, and I'll show you what our property detail pages look like. Because TopHap.com is a comprehensive research tool, right? You can do it on the fly, but most of the benefit will come from sitting down and use it on your screen. But we do have a companion app, and that app can be found on the App Store, and it's TopHap Explorer. And it's a simple version of this that includes a very powerful property detail page that you can enter into once you search for property. But do download the app. It's really cool. What you'll find is when you walk outside or even sit in your house, all you have to do is point at any home and all of that information pops up. It's really neat, right? So when you're standing inside a house with your buyer and they go, well, what's going on with the neighbors over there? That house looks like it's maybe abandoned, or have any permits been pulled there. All you have to do is point at it, click the property detail page, which is this, and then get to know everything about this home. So let me show you. We have our property valuation cards right here. The estimate, rental estimate, last sold, how long ago, location details, property details, the last listing agent, full lot details, look, 1.1 acres, elevation, slopes. Here's some cool insights, right? Larger lot than 92% of homes in this neighborhood. I mean, that's good to know, right? Nearby property statistics. What does the price per square foot do? Which is this yellow line, based on the size of the house, which is the cylinders. What about based on the lot? Bedroom counts, bathroom counts. Again, this home has more bedrooms than 91% of other homes in Alamo. And I'm sorry, bathrooms, and more bedrooms than all other homes in Alamo. Very interesting, right? So very unique property. Walkability details, noise level, hazards, weather. Here's neighborhood statistics. How many properties are in this neighborhood, or crime index? I'm sorry, this is for the zip code. Market trends, right? Month to month changes. Full comparables, right? So we do full comparables for you, and you can add these comparables to a CMA and start generating your own CMA report, and add other comparables to it. I'll show you guys what to do. We have our ARV calculator. Somebody says, you know what, this home is 20 years old. It's in good condition, but I want to remodel it. What is it going to be worth? Well, you can see that here, right? What if I want to add, another 500 square feet, right? Well, look at that. Full ownership details, tax bill amounts, owner details, public records, school info, full permits. Again, you can expand this, right, and take a look at all the permits that have ever been filed here, their status, their declared value. And we have a full property history, right, for 20 years based on deed information, permit info, tax, foreclosure, loan, and etc. So let's see. You know what? I'll show you guys. I know this is off topic for heat maps, but this is a powerful tool. Let me show you our CMA environment. So every time you plug in a property, you can go down. We find its comparables for you, and you can click see and comparable, right? So then everything is loaded for you. And this is where you can choose to delete the property because you don't agree with it, right? You can add a property, and then you can generate and export a CMA that's also branded to you. We do have a branded portal. This is where you can invite your clients. One second. Let me show you what that looks like. So that's my favorites. Oops. If I go down into my account and I turn on my branding portal, okay, that's a map. Any of my guests that visit TopHap that you invite to will see my information right up above. What's cool is we've given your guests an ability to invite their guests. So you can now build a sphere of influence within this platform and see what everybody is up to, right? So you can share this with your guests and then they can share it with their guests. So and anytime that somebody's on here, they can see your information, you're the sponsor. So obviously the leads go to you, which is really neat. So I'm going to end with this. We do have a lot more. Actually, I lied. I'm going to show you one more thing and then I'll end with this. 3D topography. I mean, this is one of my favorites. If you want to understand the characteristics of lot topography in any area, let me turn this off because everything looks flat from the top, right? But if I turn on the 3D elevation layer, which is right here, we can visualize what the slot looks like in 3D. As you can see, it's flattish where the home is, kind of, you know, continues towards the back, but it slopes on each side and towards the rear, right? So big lot, but not all usable. And if you want to understand what the neighbors look like, you can do that too, right? Smaller lots, but more flat land, right? Really neat. So I will end with this and I'll take any questions you guys might have.
All right. So actually, Anton, if you wouldn't mind, someone did ask, where did that go? If you could please demo the turnover ratio and how that's calculated. So I don't know if that means you have to share your screen again.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so turnover ratio, right? I mean, it's obviously looking at a selected region, counts how many properties are there. And so if what we want to do is, let's say we select a neighborhood, Stone Valley Oaks, okay? Okay, and if we want to take a look at its turnover within this area, right? For a time period of 6 months, right? Again, you can see that very low, right? 4%. Now, I'm sorry, 0. So if we go ahead and remove this boundary, right, and we'll take a look at Alamo as a city, you'll see a different result, right? But typically you want to do this based on neighborhood, and you can see what the turnover is for 1 year in any specific neighborhood here. And the way it's calculating it is it's looking at the total numbers of homes within the neighborhood and how many have sold within the last 12 months. Oh, another thing that we show you guys, I just noticed, I forgot to mention, is we do show off-market property sales, and they are represented in this gray color. So you can see the regular sales in red, but if you ever see a gray one, that means it's sold off market. And because we do collect, one important point I didn't touch on is what powers all of this, and this will segue into how we get this data, is we've acquired 30-year historic data for every single parcel in the nation, residential, commercial, agricultural. And what we have is ownership data, loan data, hazard data, building permit data, community data, school. It's literally trillions of data points that we're processing through. And the way we get our off-market sales is through deed records. So when a property is sold, even if it's sold off MLS, there is a deed recorded, and we do have that sale transaction, and which is represented in a light gray icon here. And some areas are more prominent to off-market sales than others. And again, when you're trying to run comparables in a region that has a lot of off-market sales, this is very helpful.
Okay, I'm so glad you went into that, because we did have a couple questions about where this data comes from. And how TopHap is updating it. I guess sort of a segue is, how often are your records updated? So is everything we're looking at live, or how often does this data get refreshed?
So some things are live, right? Some things are not, that don't need to be live, right? So for example, like updating parcel data doesn't need to be live, right? Not too many parcels are created on a daily basis, and if we update them every 30 days, that's fine. MLS data is live, right? That's important. So it depends on the data set, and we decide on how quickly it should be updated, and we update it as quickly as it needs to be, if that makes sense. And 80% of the data comes from data aggregators like a CoreLogic, Black Knight, and what we've done with the other 20% is we actually derive our own proprietary data out of those data sets, right? So 3D topography is our own proprietary tool. We've taken flight missions from NASA over the last 15 years, and we've visualized the result as they were flying over and scanning the Earth, right? The elevations and everything like that. Our own calculations are for road noise, for home values, rental values, and things like that. So, but most of the base of it all that our magic is built on top of comes from the main data aggregators.
That's fascinating. So this question, this person wants to know, will your system identify 2 to 4 unit properties?
Yeah, so we do have multifamily right in here, right? So it's everything up to 4. We are ingesting as we're going through our national expansion effort, this has been a big push for us this year. We're also ingesting commercial and points of interest data. So right around January, you'll be able to search by commercial buildings and also types of businesses, right? Am I around Starbucks or gas stations, liquor stores, Safeways? How far is the gym? All of that will be presented on a platform, and furthermore fed into our valuation model to better improve it, which is amazing. And if you guys wanted to see how accurate our valuation model is, we're very transparent with that effort. Look in the right over here in the TopHap estimate accuracy layer, and here you can see that test results. So as homes have been sold within this area right here, you can see most are in 99, 100, 99, 95, 98% accuracy, but there are some that did 70% and 80 and 81. So we're very honest about how accurate we are and visualize those results when we test historic sales. And when you zoom out, you can take a look at the bigger picture. Turn this off. And you can see, in the Bay Area, where are we the most accurate, right? Here in the Oakland regions, we're in the mid 90s, right? Low 90s. Here in Berkeley, we're in the high 90s, right? This part is also 90. So when you zoom in into your own neighborhood or the area that you serve, do turn this on and really see how accurate we are there with our test results, and test results are updated monthly. So when you do turn on the TopHap estimate layer, you can trust it, right? And understand that, hey, look, this is within 5% or 1% of accuracy.
So when looking at property types, does TopHap show you any homes that are in foreclosure or notice of default?
By January. So we acquired all of the foreclosure data, which includes all of the NODs and everything else. And we're building out our foreclosure module. What we're also building out is what we call advanced filters. And this is where you'll be able to search by very specific things that you're looking for. Let's say you're looking for homes that, there's a notice of default, but they are all only show me homes that have been owned for the owner in less than 10 years. I want it to be priced within a 25 percentile of home values within the area. And I want it to be at the lower elevation of this region, right? So any type of specific requirement you can think of, we will have in our advanced filters search, and that's also coming in by January.
So talking about all these like new and exciting features coming out, do you guys have a timeline for when this app will be available for Android?
Oh, good one. We're going to start on it in the second quarter of next year. So I would say by fall, maybe at the latest. We are talking about pushing that up and getting that done quicker. It's just the national expansion effort has really prioritized. But once we're there, then we can start working on an Android app.
Perfect. So when you say national expansion effort, so TopHap is going to be available outside of California soon?
Oh, yeah. So if you zoom out, what we want to be is give you this type of research capabilities nationwide. You can see Florida's already lit up, right? Vermont. So by January, all the rest of the states will be. So which is awesome, right? If you have a client moving to Texas, or Arizona, you can actually help them understand an area that they typically would not be familiar with, because relocation is tough. Even
Yeah.
as us as agents, everybody thinks we have the freedom. We have no freedom. We're tied to the location we've been doing business in. If we
Right.
want to go ahead, move somewhere else, what a daunting task that is of understanding the area, never mind rebuilding your business. Well, you can at least understand the area with TopHap.
So just to let everyone know, if you open up the chat window, I did drop in the URL for our co-branded page with TopHap. That's where I saw a couple of people asking, like, where do we sign up? That link right there will take you to the sign up, give you more information. I also put on there, you can get 10% off any subscription using code CAR10. And that's exclusive for C.A.R. members. So that's, because of our great partnership with TopHap. So while we're on that, Anton, if you could maybe talk through the pricing points and kind of, I know you guys offer several different packages. So maybe if you could, at a high level, sort of talk about what's included in each package and what the differences are with those price points.
Sure. So we have 3 packages. We technically have 4. We have a free version. You come on, register, don't register, search for homes for sale. Just very identical to what you see on Redfin, Zillow, and everywhere else. And then our packages start at $15 a month. It goes from 15 to 50 to 150. And it all, as your data and analytics demand grows, you then level up to a different pricing package. And I'd say 60% of our agents actually opt in for the expert tier, which is 150. But we've designed the middle tier, the pro tier, to be very agent centric and give an agent persona as everything they'll need to go ahead and utilize the tool. So it's up to you and your data needs. And that's how we've built it out and priced it.
Perfect. So what about training for TopHap? Do you guys offer any sort of training videos or demos with your staff?
Yeah, so we're always here. Let me go back and show you where you can find us with any questions here, and then I'll show you our training. So if you go to help and chat with us, you will get a reply within a minute. We love talking to our users, right? Explaining things if they're lost, or even taking note if they find something that's inaccurate. And we always want to hear feedback, right? This tool was built for the agent community, and we've done an amazing job thus far, but we always want to hear everybody's criticism, right? Because if there's something that's not making you happy, let me fix it, right? And I can get that done rather quickly, because I want to make sure that this is the solution for the agent, agent community in the research process. And then for training, so we do have TopHap Academy, and we're beginning to build this out. Right now, you have about 15 videos here. They're all between 1 and 3 minutes long, so easily digestible, that walk you through the product and its functionality. We do have a what's new section that is always updated, and this is where we update everybody with the new features, because we have a lot coming. On a monthly basis, we're releasing something. Safe properties, here's the app release. Our CMA was released recently, law dimension glance. So there's a lot of useful information here. And then if you all guys are a part of an office, and you want to set up an office demo and an office training, please reach out to us. And even if you're one agent that just needs some extra help, please connect, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of.
Awesome. I love that. So kind of going back to what we were talking about before with the different pricing models, which one includes the heat map feature, or do they all include that?
They all include that.
Awesome. Right. So, okay, this is kind of, I think this is a really interesting question, but it's kind of tapping into what would Anton say? So this person just wants to know, what if you show this data, this awesome platform to a client, and you're like, this is what's going on, and they're not really accepting it? Basically, the question says, what if you show this to a client and they stick to their guns? Do you have any, advice on how you would handle that conversation of like, here's the data I'm showing you, and they're not really adhering to it?
Yeah. Look, we all have those clients. I have one now. The best, it's people management, right? At this point, you've done as an agent all you could do, right? And you've actually backed up your opinion with data. And if they still don't trust and they still want to go their way, fine, let's take them on a journey, right? And I always say, no problem. I'm more than excited to go ahead and just work with you and see if we can make your path work. but let's just come to an agreement that if things are not working out over the next 60 days, that we come back to my plan. So, you know, if that's a seller in a listing environment, if it's a buyer, again, we'll offer what you want to offer, but look, this is what's going to get the house sold because the data says so. And when they do lose it and you do get the sales price and you back up the result with your recommendation to begin with, all of a sudden trust builds, right? So it's just managing personalities, right? Our own and theirs, and just being able to make sure that we're replying, that we're not combative, and we give them all of the information as we possibly can as professionals. But at the end of the day, it's their decision, you know, and it's up to us to also decide whether we want to work with that decision or not. So hope that helps.
I think that was the perfect answer. And that's the one that's not going to get you in trouble with your clients.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, you know, I've been doing this for 18 years. I've seen all types of personalities and scenarios and variations of it all. So for the seasoned agents out there listening, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Totally. So I'm going through some of the ones that Dennis was able to get in there and answer, but in case no one is, you know, able to see these, I'll kind of ask a couple of these that are good ones. So this member wants to know if you can export a list of the properties from your searches.
You can. There's an export feature. Yep.
Perfect. And can you choose, like, if you want it to be Excel or a PDF? Are there different formatting options? Or
so right now we have CSV. You know, so this is if you want to export the list. If you're exporting a CMA, it's a PDF. If you're printing a property report, again, you can print it as a PDF, you know, and send it, or you can share it as an email link right here. You can favorite it. And what's neat about our property reports, they also have a, you know, a AR code. So, you know, you can just have your clients scan it if you're with them, and they pull up all that information on TopHap right in their phone instantly.
all right. Let's see what else is in here that we can go over real quick. Okay, so there was another question about that, so I'm glad we went over it. This is kind of an interesting question, and Dennis did answer it, but so you said, you know, rentals can be identified within the platform, but is Airbnb going to be a feature that you guys will be able to identify at any point?
Yeah, so we do have rentals. The rental data we get from the MLSs, and as we all know, it's minimal, right? So we're working with a couple of other companies, rental data aggregators, and we're gonna, you know, improve our rental module, which is right here on the left. And then we have started talking about Airbnb. And so right now it's in conversation. We don't have a set plan for it, but we do realize it's a lucrative revenue stream for a lot of investors out there, and we need to be able to service that community as well. So we will definitely get to it.
Perfect. So what about with the value estimates, is hazard area information such as flood zones, fire danger, is that included, or if not, is it in the works?
So we flood and fire is in the works of being ingested. It's not visualized here yet, but it'll be here before the end of the year.
Perfect. Okay.
We're also doing a big push on urban environments because urban and suburban, right, different type of beast. In an urban environment, when you're dealing with buildings are little neighborhoods of their own. So we just had a meeting this morning about beefing up our urban environment, you know, abilities, which, by the way, nobody else is doing, which is, again, another surprise for me. But we're going to get into, you know, providing HOA information, you know, parking permits, orientation of the unit, you know, potentially floor plans and everything else. So you're going to see that big push come through in the second quarter of next year.
This one's really interesting. What about mobile homes? Is there any data for mobile homes?
So everything that's, if it's listed on MLS, we do have it. And if it's typically mobile home parks are one specific parcel, they're not separated into individual ones. So we show that as well, but it's just depending what kind of granular information you're looking for in that mobile environment.
Sure. Okay, so this is a really interesting question. So if you invite your clients to use TopHap, can you just send them a link? And is the link only good for one client, or your entire database could have access to the tool? So I guess just a high level, how does it work to invite your clients?
So here you see the button share. You can click it and it will take you to a name and an email address, and you hit invite and you share it with them. Now, if you have a list of clients and you would like to upload that, you can provide that for us and we'll upload it and then give you an ability to invite everybody directly from your account. Guests, see that? And then as your client is surfing around, they can invite their own friends and family, as I mentioned. Also, what they'll do is they'll see a different message here. It'll say invite your friends and family, and they can share access. And again, you see what's going on, right? So nothing is being done behind without you knowing.
And I feel like that would be a really, really interesting to see as the agent, what are your clients looking at? Are they inviting their friends and family? Because that would be a very good sign that they're, excited and really looking into things.
Yeah, how many times have we all set up a search for a customer and then they end up buying something else, right? And so it'd be interesting to kind of monitor, and you see like, oh, well, they're looking in a different neighboring city at a slightly different property, and they've had 20 searches there already. I should talk to them about that, right? What are they thinking? So you can get ahead of the conversation. Or maybe you see them looking in another state and they're thinking about relocating, right? Well, great. Look, let me refer you an agent out there. And that's another revenue stream for you, is the referral. Don't lose them because they're going in an area that you don't serve, right? You can actually assist them within this environment on TopHap and still refer the business to somebody else, but still be a part of it.
Most definitely. So this member wants us to go over the CMA capabilities again, and they want to know if you can create an actual report using the CMA data.
Yeah. So here's the automate when we went through an earlier example, you can see that the property that our comparable module selected, we can, remove some of them. We can put in a new property address here if we think is a better competitive property, and then we can export CMA. So give it a second, it's going to load. And I'll show you what that looks like. So what I'm going to have to do is stop sharing this screen because it's going to pop up as a PDF, and share the new screen. So give me 1 second. There we go. Share. Boom. Okay. So this is version 1 of our CMA. We call it the CMA Plus. We're going to go ahead and update it with the version 2 here very shortly. But you have, again, full property details. TopHap estimate, rental estimate, last sold. Here's the QR code I talked about. Here are the comps, the map, right? The price ranges of each one. Here are the properties being compared to one another with different attributes. So yeah. And you can create a very elaborate report with 10 comparables, 20, 30. And the one thing we didn't talk about is you can create a market comparable report, not just with properties, but with zip code, cities, neighborhoods, and show performance of each and how they've grown over the last 15, 20 years, what they've done during a market crash environment, how they've performed or outperformed other neighborhoods within the area. So very comprehensive stuff here.
Super comprehensive. A lot of it, it's awesome that all of this is at our fingertips, and, really important to start using, because as everyone here knows, that the marketplace is so competitive right now, and this could really give you that advantage over another realtor because you have this data insight that maybe nobody else the client has talked to has been able to show them.
I mean, look, it's the writing's on the wall. We know where this industry is going, right? We've had our work tasks minimized over the last 20 years, starting with Zillow, right? Zillow came in and said, you don't have to pull up homes for sale, right? And send them to your customers anymore. We're going to do that for you, right? So now the buying community in the selling community does their own research. They contact the agent only after they've done that search and research, right? Not before. It used to be before, right? All these other transaction management technologies are coming in to alleviate the processing of the transaction. DocuSign came in. We don't even have to go sit down with our customer in front, face to face. They removed that environment of a personal face-to-face transaction for us, right? And other technologies are coming in where it's going to be automated final doc signing, the appraisal, the reports, everything is going to be removed, further removing us from our customer, right? Kind of what happened with the mortgage industry, right? It's all online, it's all automated now, right? 15, 20 years ago, that was not the case. So where our job role, what our job role is being evolved into is understanding our markets, right? And to do that, we need to have this type of data in front of us and not just know what a home is for sale for, but what has transpired here in the last 5 years, right? As far as inventory, like we show here, right? Sold counts, active properties, days on market, median price changes, and everything else that you can visualize here, right? We don't have to be data scientists, but we need to be informed with data. So we can give data-driven advice, not opinion-based, right? If you look at a stockbroker in their industry, right, they have all these tools, but there was a point where they didn't, right? And not only do they have all these tools now, so do their customers, right? And that's what's going to happen with real estate, right? Customers, buyers, and sellers will have access to tools like this. And they will only work with agents that understand tool like this, because you need, I strongly believe, you need a facilitator of the transaction. You cannot go to court with AI, with an app, no matter how good it is. You will want personal representation, but you will use technology to get you so far. And the person you align with better be tech advanced, right? And data driven and understand all this stuff. So there's a shift. And we're the first ones to step into this industry to help along. There will be others. And anybody that doesn't adapt to this environment is just not going to be around for much longer. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. We definitely have to adapt to the way the industry is changing, and this is a great way to stay on top. 100% agree with that.
And how much more value do we bring as professionals, right? And facilitators of the most important transaction of a person's life. Most of the time, the most expensive, right? Let's give our best and bring so much trust and confidence to the deal, right? Through this type of data-driven advice.
Most definitely. Well, we're pretty much out of time. We'll end on one final question. Yes. You may have answered this already, but how long has TopHap been around?
We're going to celebrate our 4-year anniversary in January.
Oh, my birthday is in January.
Oh, January what?
January 4th.
Okay, here you go. All right. Well, happy birthday to us both.
Yeah, exactly. I love sharing a birthday with TopHap. That's a new favorite thing I just found out. Awesome. Well, we are, like I said, pretty much at 11 o'clock. So lots of great questions today. I always learn something new when I come on these. And even though I think this is like our 3rd webinar, there's always so many new things I learn about TopHap, and it's really exciting. So Anton, I really can't thank you enough for taking the time just to come on here and talk to us about heat maps and talk to us about how to, prepare ourselves for the changing industry. So I'll leave it to you for any closing remarks, and we'll bid everyone a farewell.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for having me. You guys, you can reach me on LinkedIn or my email, anton@tophap.com. Any type of questions, discussions you'd like to have, I'm here. And so is my whole team. So thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of the day and take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.